Welcome to Typevolution. You can call me Olympia. This video is about the manifestation of the dark sexual and self-preservation instincts, also called SXSP and SPSX darkings. If you are new to this topic or to this channel, make sure you also check out my videos about the dark side of SXSP and dark side of SPSX. In this video I'm going to focus specifically on comparing SXSP versus SPSX in a vampiric context. My primary example of this will be Egger's movie Nosferatu from the year 2024. Spoiler alert, there will be tons of spoilers for the movie. The vampiric sexual instinct locks onto its object of desire and attempts to entice, attract, draw them in, often with either the use of sexual magnetism and/or irresistible beauty, both of which can be stemming from the vampiric curse or related magical abilities. The vampiric sexual instinct is emotionally consumed by and obsessed with the other. In that sense, the term emotional vampire may apply here, where the vampiric sexual instinct is draining emotional life force from their victim in order to sustain themselves. It has to be noted that emotional vampires are not exclusive to the sexual instinct, but sometimes can also be social instinct. Ultimately, the vampiric sexual instinct desires to be with someone forever in an eternal embrace. However, usually this embrace leads to the death of either the victim or the vampire, or both. The vampiric self-preservation instinct is clearly shown in the blood-sucking itself, or in other words, the dependency on external substance. There is where the obsession lies. The consumption of blood and living eternally are the focus here. However, this need is an entirely compulsive appetite and can even lead to your own or other people's demise. Also, the vampire's immortality eventually turns out to be more of a curse, especially if the vampire's appearance is close to that of a rotten corpse. In its vampiric form, the preservation of the self always comes at the expense of one's emotional, personal self or the selves of others. Even if a loved one can be preserved by being turned into a vampire, that person will be condemned to be undead forever, only living a semblance of life, with a lot of personal sacrifices. Even simple self-preservation pleasures such as living under the sun or consuming normal food and drink are denied. The vampire is typically wealthy, but that wealth tends to be abused or ends in financial ruin. Ellen is a manifestation of the dark SXSP deadly seducer. As Orlock said, she is a non-human enchantress who called him to her. In the beginning of the movie, Ellen was a deeply lonely teenager because her father despised her and isolated her from everyone. This hurt her sexual instinct, which is a yearning for connection and sexual contact. She also suffered from sleepless nights, a sign that her self-preservation instinct was suffering as well. She called out for a being from any celestial sphere to come to her. That fatal desperation for a partner, which can afflict very unhealthy SXSP individuals, brought in someone like Orlock, a demented, twisted being who literally feeds off her sexual desperation. This was symbolized by him sexually violating her during her petite mort moment. Her epileptic seizures are connected to Orlock's possession of her and make her momentarily imitate the beastly SPSX darking in appearance, but it should be noted that these fits usually occur whenever her sexual instinct becomes darker and more desperate. At the end of Nosferatu, the deadly embrace by Ellen and Orlock is a perversion of the ideal for the sexual instinct. This is due to the fact that instead of being forever with her chosen partner in a bliss-like state, Ellen sacrifices herself in a gruesome manner in order to put an end to Orlock's evils. Essentially, she used her dark powers as a deadly seducer to kill Orlock and get rid of his evil. But because she is using the dark side of herself, she perishes as well. So the movie makes it seem like you can only counter darkness with darkness, but I should note here that in reality that's not necessarily the case. Orlock represents a classically horrific version of the dark SPSX beast at its worst level. His primary cause of darkness was his deal with the devil in order to live and stay on this earth forever, which is a dark obsession in regards to the self-preservation instinct. Of course, all instincts may want to live forever for different reasons, but here the focus is self-preservation, not wanting to physically give up your body and place on earth. However, Orlock's immortality comes at the cost of being a walking, decaying corpse, having to reside in a coffin at night with the earth of his country in it, and being driven by an obscene appetite and lust for blood. The sexual instinct desire of wanting to be with your lover transforms in the beastly SPXX into a literal appetite. As Orlock says, I cannot be sated without you. When it comes to the social instinct last, both Orlock and Ellen are out of touch with social conventions or social belonging, not caring much for either. Orlock in particular despises the social instinct and actively goes against it when he unleashes plagues and the like on towns and villages. In conclusion, how to overcome the inner vampire? When Ellen asks, does evil come from within or from beyond? My answer is both. When something traumatic happens to us, or when we fail to fulfill the desires of our instincts and then select desperate or fatal means of fulfilling them, we will be plunged into the darkness or into our so-called shadow, and hence come face to face with our inner monster. I noticed nowadays the Jungian concept of the shadow is becoming more popular again. It does hold eternal relevance because we all possess instinctual drives, which we cannot escape from, just like we cannot escape our actual physical shadows. Therefore, we are all technically capable of having evil urges. However, what makes all the difference is how we deal with those urges. We can desperately try to suppress our instincts or sacrifice ourselves for them, as Ellen does. We can indulge in them recklessly, like Orlock does, or we can actually find a truly light side way of fulfilling them. That choice is ultimately up to us. But in order to be able to make that choice, we need to be aware of our instinctual selves and follow a mentor who can show us a better way. If you need more help with distinguishing between your own light or dark instinctual sides and how to transform them, feel free to check out my website and get typed or coached by me. If you liked this video, please make sure to give it a like so more people can find it. And yeah, have a good day and wish you well. Bye!